Hello, I'm going to make the second half of the lab video for the blood, or hematology. And this is usually one of the tougher sections to cover with this first lab exam. So here's where I am. We just did this the last video, went through all the little white blood cell types. What this is going to cover, and what I would normally do when I tried to do, I normally write this on the board, and I was going to try to write it out and make a video of me writing it out. But there's some kind of camera physics thing that I don't know about, and when the picture was going through the camera, it was backwards, and everything would have been backwards, the words were backwards, and so, yeah, I haven't figured that out yet. So I don't want to make it worse. So I might attempt just to type it right here, but when you cover blood, you have to go through what are called the AB blood groups. And most people know this. If you're type A blood here, you cannot donate to type B. And that's what we were going to go over. And this is for my PowerPoint and lecture. I'm going to go ahead and put this on your lab page as well. A little diagram of all the different blood types. But what I normally would do, and I would, somehow I ended back up at the top. I would, I'd tell students to write this down here. So we're going to try it here. So, without further ado, oh my goodness. Oh. I'm going to make just a little minor adjustment on this picture so I can get, there we go. And I can make this one thing for you if you want to, you know how I am about writing things down. I was trying to make this video as realistic as possible with my typing and everything. Well, I'm just going to do it this way. So, here we are with blood type. I'm going to put the caps off long. If you are blood type A, that means in your genetic lottery, you have what is called an A antigen on your red blood cell surface. And I'll show you that picture here in a second. If you are type A blood, you develop what are called anti-B antibodies. And I'm going to have to make this, see, I was trying to make this as real life as I could. So far, it's ending up being a cluster. Bleep. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm just going to take this guy out. Sorry. Diagram, you got to go away. I'll do the best I can. So, if you are type A blood, there we go. You have an A antigen, and this has to do with your immunity, your immune system. Your immune system will go around before you're born and inventory all of your cells so that your own system will not attack your own cells. That's what autoimmune means. An autoimmune disease is when a disease attacks a person's own cells. It's not supposed to. And during that inventory, when this A antigen is picked up by the immune system, automatically in plasma, that person develops what are called anti-B antibodies. You get the opposite antibody type. Now, if you are type B blood, I think I can go across. Ow, you mother puss. There we go. That means you have the B antigen. And guess what? If you have the B antigen, as a result of that, you're going to develop anti-A antibodies. You being the immune system. That's how that would work. Okay, so next group, or next type, type AB, which happens to be the rarest, usually what you say with that is, and I have my caps lock on, people who have type AB blood, well, they have both antigens. And there are only two antigens that determine blood type, A and B, and you have 4 combinations of those. So if you're type AB blood, that means that in the genetic lottery from your mom and your dad, one gave you an A antigen in genetics and the other one gave you a B. Now here's the interesting part. If you have both antibodies, or both antigen, and I'm going to put neither or none, that person does not develop any antibodies. And that's why type AB blood, they're referred to as what are called the universal recipients. They can receive blood from anyone because they don't have any antibodies. If you are type O, which is recessive, and I'm going to use the word, I don't know if neither is the best word to use here, but if you're type O, well, that means that you have neither or none. We have neither the A or the B. That's why you're referred to as type O. Interesting thing about them is when the immune system sees they're missing an A and a B antigen, they develop both antibody types. So they have both the anti-A and the anti-B. So the golden rule is you're trying to avoid, you cannot get the same antigen and the same antibody together, because then you'll have what is called clumping. Boy, I'm really doing this like I would in class, but I should have had this picture up for you already. Let's see that. Oh, this one looks, well, that's a drawing of one. This one's pretty good. See over here it says donor blood type. That's clumping. See how it's all clumped together? You're trying to avoid that. Here's an even more detailed one. Look at this. And I wouldn't worry about how to read it, but see this here and that, anything with the little specks, that's clumping. It's called agglutination is the word for that. It means that you basically have blood clumping. Here's a great picture. See this? Antigens, antibodies, you see them sticking together. When you're doing blood transfusions, you want to avoid that. Now, here in a second when we do blood typing, you're actually looking for the clumping to determine the blood type. And I've actually used this diagram before. This is one that's great. In fact, this might be in one of your lessons, but that's a good picture there. You're trying to avoid that. So let's see here. Donate to. If you are type A blood, who can you donate to? Well, you can donate to your own blood type, A and AB. Remember, AB, they're called the universal recipients. So they technically can receive blood from anyone. So if you're type A and you want to give blood away, you can give it to A and to AB. If you're type A, who can you receive from? Well, you can receive from your own blood type, of course. Who else can you receive from? Type O. O, they're actually called the universal donors because O, they do not have antigens. So theoretically, you can put their blood in anybody's system. It's not going to cause trouble because there's no antigens to mix with the antibodies. The reason AB is called a universal recipient is because they don't have any antibodies. So same thing, if you put blood into their system, they have both antigens, but there's no antibodies to cause trouble. I hope that makes sense. Now, if you're, do this one more time, if you're B, who can you donate to? B and AB, who can you receive from? Oops, B almost caused an accident. B and O. Why can you receive from O? They're called universal donors. They have no antigens. Now, and I'm keeping this simple. If you're type AB, who can you donate to? Well, that's interesting. AB only. Here's why. If you're AB, you have both antigens. So you have an A and a B. So if you can't donate to type A because they have B antibodies. You can't donate to type B because they have A antibodies. And I hope I said B antibodies up here. If you're type O, you have both antibodies. Then you got a full-blown war. I'm going to say, just to keep it simple, who can A be received from? Well, all. They are called a universal recipient. There is a technicality with this, with the minus and the pluses. But for right now, this is how textbooks do it, and this is how we're going to do it. So if you're type O, who can you donate to? I'm just going to put all. All categories. Who can you receive blood from? O only. Yeah, I guess if you're in an accident, AB is great because you can technically receive from everyone. If you're type O and you're in an accident, you can only get your own blood type. And here's why. Okay, they don't have either antigen, but they have both antibodies. So A can't donate to O, B can't donate to O because of the antibody here. AB, same thing. AB has both antigens. And so O has both antibodies, so you can't do that. So that's just setting this up here. Now, the other part here, and because I made some adjustments. And even though we're doing this class a little different, I will still, I'll still give you a bonus for this. I don't do a lot of bonus and online stuff. The thing called the RH factor. And you know what? I think, I think I'm going to cover that next. Thanks. Okay, the RH factor. Let me put this down. Okay. What this means. The RH factor is referring to this antigen called the antigen D. D is in dog. It's called the RH factor because the rhesus monkey, rhesus being R-H-E-S-U-S, the rhesus monkey, is a very common lab animal that is used for testing because the DNA in the rhesus monkey is very close to human DNA. And what was discovered was the rhesus monkey have what's called an antigen D on the red blood cell surface, and so do we, and it's identical. So they call it the RH factor in honor of the rhesus monkey. 87% of the population are said to be RH positive. Your humble instructor here, I am B negative, so I am part of the whatever 13%. I do not have the RH factor. I do not have antigen D. So here's the thing with that. Even though we just did all this, okay, as far as, and I'm going to show you another thing you can study for that, but, you can study what I put here very well. I would have wrote that on the board for you. But here's the thing. You cannot mix people who have the RH factor. You cannot mix their blood with people like me who are Rh negative, because here's what would happen. The antigen D is sticking out on a red blood cell surface. In fact, I'll do this in a second. I'm really doing this like I'm in class. But the Rh factor, if you put the antigen D into their bloodstream, it's going to be like a foreign body to them. Somebody who's Rh negative, their immune system's never seen it. And so the first time you do it, it would be fine. The first transfusion would be fine. But what would happen is that person would develop what are called, if you get an infusion of that blood, you will develop what are called anti-RH antibodies in their plasma. Those don't show up spontaneously. They have to show up as a result of being exposed to the Rh factor. People who are Rh negative. This is where the shot RhoGAM comes in with pregnant females before testing. You don't want the blood mixing in case the fetus is positive and the mom's negative and vice versa. Well, the main thing you don't want, if the mom is negative and the fetus is positive, you're trying to prevent the mom from developing these, because then if she gets pregnant again and the baby's positive, then these antibodies will attack it like it's a foreign invader. So it's called erythroblastosis fetalis. And anyway, here's the golden rule with this. Rh positive can give to Rh positive only. If you're Rh negative, you can donate to both negative and positive. So you kind of have to keep that involved. Now, on your on your lab exam, we're going to do it this way. Okay, if you do this, you get full credit. If you put the pluses and the minuses in the right places, I'll give you some extra cheese, all right? Extra points. So the reason we don't do this, and I'm figuring my textbook don't do this. So I'm going to erase what we just did up here. Let's say we're going to be super technical, and we're going to add the negatives and the positive. If you're type A, well, let's say you're A, where's my minus? Eek, there we go. And I'll probably do another, see, this is why I really don't do it this way, but we'll have to do an A, shift A, positive. Well, it's the best I can do. This doesn't change. The antigen antibody part doesn't change. Who can they donate to? Well, that changes. Yee. Oh my God. Just click on it. Oh my God. I don't know what I'm... we'll be right back after these messages from your local stations. All right, we're back, and the blood typing fairy came in and created a little chart for me. So if we're going to do this, adding the negatives and the positives, here's what we're going. I'm just going to write it out for you. Like I said, you're going to be asked what are the blood types. If you do it this way, I'll give you an extra bonus. If you're A negative, who can you donate to? You can donate to A, negative, A negative, A positive, because you're negative, remember? And I may have to make this even a little further. So the rules don't have to make a video very long, but I've already foobarred that. So who can you donate to? All right, A negative, A positive, AB negative, and AB positive. There we go. So remember, AB is the universal recipient, but now we're adding it in the way it's supposed to be. Who can they receive from? A negative, A positive. And then who else? Remember? O negative, or hold on. Okay. Now, who can they receive from? A negative and little o negative. Remember, negative can give to positive and negative. But if you're negative, you can only receive from negative. You cannot receive from positive, right? We're trying to avoid exposure to the antigen D. If you're AB positive, who can you donate to? Well, you're kind of limited there, like my typing. You can donate to, wrong key. You can donate to A positive and AB. Yeah, and AB bracketed. You can donate to A positive and AB positive. Remember, positive blood can only donate to positive. Who can they receive from? A negative, A positive, and O negative, comma, O positive. Well, I don't have to worry about going too fast, do I? All right. Remember, they can receive. Negative can donate to negative and positive. Positive can only donate to positive. So So if you're O negative and you're a universal donor, can you donate to positive? Absolutely. If you're O positive, can you donate to A positive? Absolutely. If you're O positive, you cannot donate to A negative because then you're exposing that person to the antigen D. And you will get that immune reaction, and that person will get anti-RH antibodies, and the next transfusion, there'd be trouble. B, who can B negative donate to? B negative, B positive, AB negative, AB. Oh, I invented a new blood type. AB positive. Oh. That's who they can donate to. Who can they receive from? I hope you're seeing a pattern here. B negative and O negative. That's who they can receive from. If you're B positive, so who can you donate to? B positive and AB positive. Right? Because AB is the universal recipient and they're positive, they can't donate to negative. So who can they receive from? Once again, I hope you see a pattern. So B negative, B positive, O negative, O positive. Okay, we got 2 more left, and I'm going to end this little this part, and I'm just going to make another video for the what's called determining of blood types or blood typing. If you're AB negative, who can you donate to? Well, you can donate to good Lord, AB negative and AB positive. If you're AB negative, who can you receive from? A negative, comma, B negative, comma, AB negative, comma, O negative. It's all blood groups, but here's that one, that little twist, right? Because they're called universal recipients. Okay, the next one's the true universal recipient, AB positive. But if you're AB negative, you can receive from all blood types, but yet they have to be negative blood. So if you're AB positive, who can you donate to? And here's where the absolutes come in. AB positive only. If you're AB positive, who can you receive from? All blood types. They are true universal recipients. Yeah, because they're positive. It doesn't matter if you put the negative into their blood, and the positive, their immune system's already seen the RH factor. So they are true universal recipients. O neg. All right. This used to be a cash cow where I grew up in around Midland. If you were O negative, who can you donate to? All blood types. You are a true universal donor because you're O negative. You can donate to everybody. Who can you receive from? Who can O receive from? Oops, I didn't want to put that. O negative only. Right, 'cause they can't receive positive blood. And they're not universal recipients. Remember, they have both sets of antibodies, so they can only receive from O. Can't put any other blood type there. And at the coup de grace, if you are O positive, who can you donate to? If you're O positive, let's see, you can donate to. I can't find my plus, sorry. A positive, B positive, AB positive, and O positive. If you're O positive, you're not true universal donor. You can donate to all blood groups, but they all have to be positive. And if you're in an accident, who can you receive from? O negative, O positive. Okay, since the blood type fairy removed my other diagram, like I said, this will be a bonus. If you put the pluses and minuses, I'll give you a bonus. You don't have to put the plus and minus on the blood typing questions, and I will stipulate that in your exam. See you in the next video. So now we're going to switch real quick to this blood cell chart. It has red blood cell, it has anti-B antibody, and then it has A antigen. So this is type A blood. See the A antigens, they have a little fork in the top, and then here are the B antibodies. They have the same little fork at the top. So these would not mix together. An antigen antibody complex is very specific, and these actually have the same shape, so they're not going to fit together. That's what makes you type A blood. Here's the A antigen, and as a result of that, in plasma, you would develop the anti-B antibodies. Here's type B blood. See, there's the B antigens that has a little peak on there, same way with the antibodies. This is a B antibody. This is an anti-A antibody because you develop the opposite antibody type. And that's why right off the bat, if you mix this with that little receptor right here, play a little bigger. See how big? And Greg just took down the whole system. There we go. My computer did not like, well, it still doesn't. Maybe it's just too big. There we go. But I wanted to see, look, see that point? And then see that? Those two would fit perfect together. So that's why you can't mix and match, blood type. You can't get the same antigen and the same antibody in the same area. Here is type AB. See, there's an A antigen, there's the B antigen, but you can see there's no antibodies. So that makes you type AB blood. None of those there. Here's type O. There's no antigens. And then here's some A antibodies. Here's some B antibodies. That's what makes you type O. And that's the 4 groups. Really good chart. I'll put this underneath the outline so you can look at it.